What's going on there, folks? Earthmaster here, checking in on this Friday night, February 1st, 2019, 9:34 p.m. here on the West Coast. And a little bit of earthquake activity out there to discuss today. We did have that 6.6 magnitude earthquake that struck off the south part of Mexico down there, shaking up the folks in the region. Caught that one first thing in the morning, so in my update video this morning, if it sounds like I just woke up out of bed and did the update video, that's because well, you're correct. I definitely just jumped out of bed, seen this come up, and did a quick update video on it, and didn't even have time to clear out my my morning voice, so to speak. But anyway, since then, folks, a little bit of earthquake activity, aftershock activity around that 6.6 magnitude earthquake, and a little bit of earthquake activity following the west coast or western part of Mexico up towards the west coast of the United States of America, with a 4.1 striking off there just south of the border down there around the Baja California region, and also 2.9 making its way off the coast of Northern California. A little bit of earthquake activity in Nevada as well, so you can kind of see the pressure from this activity could be working its way towards, actually I wouldn't say could, it is working its way up here towards the west coast region. So with a continued increase on top of the increase here along the west coast, we'd definitely got to be on guard out here. I'm not for sure exactly how much pressure is out there building up, but we've definitely been seeing a lot of activity along the west coast region that shows signs and signals of building up pressure in the region, which I talked about a couple update videos in regards to pretty much all the fault systems along the west coast, showing whether it be micro activity or minor earthquake activity. There was definitely a lot of activity on pretty much all the fault systems. So here's the latest USGS map, 1-day magnitude 2.5 and above. Pretty much everything that you're going to see on the earthquake 3D globe. But I do like to show this map because it does pinpoint and point out the fault systems here along the California region here, along with the Juan de Fuca plate up here in the Cascadia subduction zone up here as well. That 2 point, what do we got here? Let me see what that one was here along the Mendocino fault system. That was a 2.9 just off the coast of Eureka out there within the Mendocino fault system here. Not within that tri-section here, but just on the Mendocino fault itself. Like I said, this is just 1 day, 2.5 and above. The rest of the state pretty quiet when it comes to 2.5 and above, but I should probably drop it down here to at least all magnitude so we can see a little bit of where the activity is out at. Looking up north, it's pretty quiet for the most part. A little bit of earthquake activity around the San Francisco Bay region here, right on the San Andreas fault system here. This is kind of the area right here where that 1906 earthquake kind of took place over here. So nothing big. That's just a little 2.1 magnitude earthquake there at 12 kilometers below the surface, and some other microquakes around San Leandro, Livermore region, and Fremont as well within that Hayward fault system, I believe it is. Let me see, Hayward fault over here, and then you also got the Calaveras fault system, northern Calaveras fault system right there. Following the San Andreas fault system down further towards Soledad and Coalinga area, just some micro earthquakes, nothing major, and then once again no activity to report down there in the southern section here. This area between just west of Bakersfield and right around the east of Los Angeles, right around Palmdale, continuously is quiet. There's a little bitty quake there, and it's hard to tell if that's even right on the system or not. We're on that San Andreas fault system. Looks like it might just be off of it a little bit, but either way, a super microquake, 1.4 in the magnitude there. So still, this system down here, this fault system, still locked, loaded, ready to blow whenever it feels like it, and one day it will, and that's just a simple fact that's going to happen down there, and it's going to be chaos. I'm just glad I don't live in that region. Salton Sea region, a little micro earthquake out here near Nyland. So we'll watch that for further activity. They did have, excuse me, a little bit of swarming activity there about a week or so ago, which was kind of on the increase, and then all of a sudden it just died completely. So we will keep an eye on that. Let's see if I can find that. Where'd that one earthquake go? Oh, it's probably not going to pop up here because that, well, U.S., right? So, definitely we need to be on guard out here, folks, around the West Coast region. As in that earthquake 3D globe, you can kind of see the trend of activity stretching its way up from Mexico all the way up here through Baja, with a little bit of activity off the West Coast. But, it's plate tectonics. There's going to be some movement. The whole plate itself, the Pacific Plate's a huge plate, right, folks? It's huge, humongous. So it's going to do some adjustments and apply some more pressure in areas that could be built up. We'll just have to keep an eye on it. A couple 5.3s, I should say, out there around Fiji. Not deep earthquake activity, actually pretty shallow for that region. The only deeper earthquake activity is this one over here towards the Indonesia Islands region with this 4.1 magnitude earthquake at 269 kilometers below the surface there. So relatively, just sporadic, moderate activity. You can kind of see three centralized points out here: Fiji Islands, Indonesia Islands region, and a triangle type shape right here, along with a region just off of the Russia area here, with a couple fours within this region here. Just off of off the coast of Russia out there. Let's see here. So as far as the Pacific, Eastern or Western Pacific goes, once again, still following that 6.6, a little bit of earthquake activity just around that region, some aftershocks. Chile showing a cluster of deeper quakes, not super deep, but some threes and whatnot. It looks like the latest earthquake, to be exact, is this one right here in the green flag, 3.3, right around 200 kilometers below the surface there. You can see just the generalized rings being raised off the globe, indicating some deeper earthquake activity. So, and the rest of the beautiful globe out here, well, they had some earthquake activity around the Mediterranean Sea region once again, 4.9, 4.5 out there. Let's get an idea of where that 4.9 is at. Right around Greece, to be exact, out there in the Sea of Crete. I believe I pronounced that correctly. If I didn't, well, it is what it is. I don't see any other way of pronouncing it. But that's somewhat relatively minor out there. 5.3 right smack dab out here in this area here. Let me get an exact coordinate here on my side to tell you exactly where it's at. Kazakhstan. Tugol, Kazakhstan. 5.3 earthquake out there in the desert, right? I think it's pretty much desert out there. Definitely a lot of earthquake activity, but not excessive. I would say this just pretty much normal activity. Let me show you guys here. Whoa, that's not the image I want to show you guys. Let's see what happened to it here. I did want to show you guys the plate system out here real quick, where that Mexico earthquake took place. I guess it's this one right here. Let me see if that's going to be it. Okay. Oh, no wonder I clicked cancel last time. That's what happened. Okay, so anyway, so here's the generalized plates, right, on a flat globe, a flat plane, right? If you're a flat earther, then this is what you're going to see, right? But the world's round. So anyway, taking a look at the plates out here for the most part. The 6.6 earthquake activity happened right around that, what's that called, Cocos Plate? Is that correct? See this little region up here, south of Mexico, there's kind of like a separate plate out there too. It's called the Caribbean plate, kind of like in a tri-junction right there between the North American plate, the Cocos plate. I think that's Cocos. I've never heard of that. And the Caribbean plate. I'm gonna have to check back on that. But yeah, kind of like in that tri-section right there where they all kind of three meet, is where that 6.6 took place. So yeah, they do get much larger earthquakes out there. It is a subduction zone, and they can have mega quakes out there. So 6.6, relatively large, but it can be way bigger. So luckily, that didn't happen. So yeah, there's just a generalized plates out there, folks. You can see all the different plates. The Eurasian plate. Just a lot of cool plates out there. It's neat to look at this stuff. See how the Earth is kind of cracked like a egg. And of course, up here the Juan de Fuca plate. That's a big one. That's the one that worries me sometimes. That's kind of why I don't go over here to the ocean anymore, along the Oregon, California coast. It freaks me out. In fact, when was it? It's been about 5 years since I've been over there. Stayed at this beautiful motel on the beach, right on the beach there in, is it Gold Beach? No, it's a little bit south of there. Is it Brookings? I think it may have been around Brookings. Somewhere around there. Anyway, it was a nice motel, right smack dab on the beach, walking distance to the ocean, probably 100, 200 feet. And I couldn't sleep. The bed was nice, the room was nice, but I would hear cracks, right? It'd be like crack, pop, just from either the wood or maybe the humidity in the air or the wind. But it would just freak me out. Like as soon as I fall asleep at night, I would hear that cracking and popping noise in like the structure of the building, of the motel, and I would wake up instantly and just sit there and wait for either shaking or try to go back to sleep, but I couldn't. I never could. So anyway, I don't like. It's a beautiful area over there along the West Coast, Oregon, Northern California, but I just can't do it, because I know one day it's going to happen, and I don't know. So anyway, folks, yeah, I thought I'd share that little story, right? Pretty crazy. Let's take a look at these slow slip events, which are kind of mellowed out for the most part here. See if you guys can see that. Let me put it within view here. Well, that's just a little bit too, there we go. Let's see here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so this here is just the last 3 hours. A little bit of earthquake activity in Washington and north of Portland out there. Let's go ahead and see what the last, 24 hours is. Not much of a difference. Mostly confined up there to Oregon and Washington area. So, yeah. Pretty mellow in the slow slip department. In the meantime, if you didn't get a chance, I guess there was some type of meteor or meteorite that struck out there around Cuba, I believe it was. I didn't really check it out too much or go into detail too much on my post, but I did post an article, a link to an article, where I guess something fell out of the sky. I don't know, some type of meteorite. So go check it out there on my Facebook page if you haven't already. I might look into it here in a little bit after the update video. I do got to fix the globe, not the globe, but the earthquake 3D bells. I guess they're not working. I'm not for sure why, but thank you to the mod out there for letting me know that. And I will fix that here after this update video and go from there. Live seismographs are pretty quiet. Yellowstone National Park, I guess I can check that out real quick while we're here. And pretty mellow. Well, there's a little bit of earthquake activity out there around the northwest corner of the park. Once again, you can see right around Maple Creek, Hebgen Lake region, a couple spikes of earthquakes, but nothing major. No swarming, and the rest of the park looks pretty quiet, folks. So, in the meantime, that'll be it for this update video, and we'll chat to you guys a little bit later tomorrow. Make sure you give a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I was looking at some of my stats here, and a lot of people are not subscribed to this channel. So please subscribe. We post update videos on earthquakes around the globe. A lot of times solar weather. If we have solar weather, it's just been relatively quiet, with the solar minimum and whatnot. But volcanoes, weather, extreme weather events. I chase tornadoes and extreme weather in the springtime, which is already set up here in April. So yeah, make sure you subscribe to this channel, give a thumbs up, swing on by the live stream and say hi to the mods and the rest of the viewers out here, and kind of help this channel grow a little bit. We're slowly growing. We did have a pretty good spike last year, but it's kind of tapered off a little bit, so I'd like to see that pick up a lot more, and we'll go from there. So make sure you share it out there on Facebook with your friends and whatnot if they like earthquake and weather updated information. And yeah. All right, folks, have a good night out there. Stay safe, and always be prepared for anything out there. I guess including a meteorite or meteor. Those things can just fall out of the sky, right? All right, stay safe.